This is one of the most mysterious disappearance stories you would ever hear. A popular Ghanaian artist by the name of Castro Underfire went missing in July of 2014 under a very unusual circumstance, and up till this day, no one has seen him, nor have they seen his body. It took 7 years since 2014 to declare him dead because, according to his family, they were hoping he would soon return. Castro Underfire, or Castro as they call him, but his government name was Theophilus Tago. He was a very notable Ghanaian artist. In fact, he was one of the biggest African artists at the time, gaining recognition across African countries and even internationally. He had several hits and released numerous albums. He was like the Burna Boy, Wizkid, and Davido of that era. And he had planned to retire from music early so that he would become a producer and discover new artists and new talent across the globe. However, in 2014, he vanished under a very mysterious circumstance while on vacation with a very close friend of his. So, what really happened to Castro Underfire? This is what we know. Castro was a very good friend with Asamoah Gyan, the then captain of the Ghanaian national football team. They were so close that they even had 3 albums released together. So somewhere in July of 2014, Asamoah Gyan decided to go on a vacation with some of his friends and he invited Castro Underfire. They were supposed to visit a resort in Akosombo, but the yacht they were supposed to use had an issue. So they went to another beach resort in Adafoa in Ghana there still. I think the beach resort was called Aqua Safari. Now, Castro could not attend this beach vacation with Gyan, and he did tell him that he could not go because he had to go to a funeral in Kumasi. And even the next day when Gyan tried to reach out to him again to check if he could still make it, Castro repeated that unfortunately he can't go still. So however, somewhere around the 3rd or 4th of July, that was the day of the funeral that Castro was supposed to attend in Kumasi. That was the same day that Gyan and his friends were supposed to go to the Aqua Safari. Now, Gyan and his friend began their journey to the Aqua Safari. They were already going. And while they were going, that was when Castro called Gyan and told him to wait for him, that he had changed his mind to go to the safari instead with them. It's not clear why he changed his mind or why he didn't go to the funeral, but clearly, come on. If you had to go to a funeral or go to a beach resort, which would you go? I would go to the beach resort. And I think maybe that was what Castro thought of when he wanted to make a decision. Gyan waited along with his friends at a fuel station for Castro to meet them, and eventually Castro met them. They went to the beach resort, they settled, and on the 5th of July, 2014. They were already at the resort and they were already beginning their fun. Gyan and some of his friends decided to go ride a jet ski. But Castro was not with them. He was tired from the previous day. It's not clear what they did the previous day. There's a chance that he probably still went to the funeral, made an appearance and rushed back to join them. There's still that possibility. So this is where the mystery begins. This is where the mystery starts. This is where the confusion or the disappearance of Castro, who was not even there on that first day, begins. So Gyan rode the jet ski and they were riding on the river, and it was the Volta river, to be clear. I think that's where the river that connects into the beach. And while they were riding, they were having fun, and Gyan was with an instructor. So as they were going, it was all fun and all interesting until they got into a swampy mouth of the Volta. They got into an area towards the end of the river that felt a little off. But it only felt a little off to Gyan. Gyan was the one who kind of felt that something was wrong when they got to the swampy mouth. But the instructor kept telling him, no, there's nothing wrong, it's fine. But Gyan was like, nah, let's go back. This area feels off. Gyan did feel that something about that area did not feel right. It's not clear what he felt, but I don't know what a swampy mouth is in the river. I don't play with rivers. But then Gyan knew that something unusual about that area was just a little, maybe too much tide or too much wave, or there was just something about that swampy mouth of the Volta River that Gyan was not feeling, despite the instructor telling him that, nah, it's good. People come here all the time. There's nothing to worry about. However, the instructor listened to Gyan and they rode back towards the shores of the riverside where the beach is. So that happened. Now, the next day, the 6th of July 2014, Castro Underfire was up. He was available. He was ready to have the fun. He was ready to have the best time. And so another group of his friends also wanted to ride the jet ski. And while they were getting ready to go, he specifically instructed them and told them that they should not get to the Swampy Mouth, that he went there the previous day and it felt off. And so they got the instruction and they were like, okay, fine. I mean, if you say so, we won't get there. But the only problem is Castro Underfire was not there when Gyan was warning the other boys about the Swampy Mouth of the Volta River. By the time Castro Underfire arrived at the jet ski spot, Gyan had already given the instruction to the other boys, and he did not remember to tell Castro. And so Castro got into a jet ski by himself. I think he didn't get an instructor. There was a video vixen there by the name of Janet Bandu or Janet Badu. So Janet was a video vixen, one of the girls that they came with, one of the models that were having fun with them. So Castro asked Janet to join him on his jet ski. Now, this is where things start getting tricky. Janet got into Castro's jet ski, but she didn't get in there with a life jacket. And the instructor clearly told them, please wear your life jackets. This is not where you can play. This is not the swimming pool, my dear. This is a river. But Castro convinced basically everyone, or convinced Janet that he was good at riding the jet ski. This isn't his first time, and he's a good swimmer, so she has nothing to worry about. All she has to do is put her hand around his back, and they would have a music video moment in the Volta River. So that was it now. Castro is in his jet ski with Janet Badu without no instructor. And so the fun begins. And that was it. He, along with the other guys, they just kept riding their jet ski. They just kept going. It was all fun. Everybody was having fun. Everybody was going. Everybody just kept on riding their jet ski on the river. But by the end of the day, everyone returned and the jet skis were packed. When the jet ski manager went to count the jet ski, they realized that one was missing. And he approached the boys who were probably waiting for Castro Underfire and Janet. And he went there to meet them and asked, yeah, what's up? We have one jet ski missing. And that was when Gyan and his brother and his friends were like, oh, chill, one of our guys still riding out there with his girlfriend, with another girl, Janet, that they are coming back and they are still there. But the manager was like, nah, it's getting late. You all need to call him to come. And I think they tried calling him, but it's not clear if Castro was with his mobile phone. And from where they could stand and look ahead in the river, they could not see any sign of a jet ski moving. They could not just see anything. It was really far at a distance that they just assumed maybe Castro went all the way, and they were hoping he would be back soon. Time started passing, and eventually everyone became worried. And that was when the instructors and other people took on their jet ski to go and look for Castro Underfire. And that was it. They went as far as anywhere they could go. They even went to the Swampy Mouth. But there was no sign of Janet, nor was there any sign of Castro Underfire. However, they saw the jet ski. Where did Castro Underfire go? Where did Janet go? It was purely confusing. Another thing that sources claimed is they most likely also saw the life jacket that Castro Underfire was wearing. It was floating just near the jet ski, or probably with the jet ski. But there was no Castro in sight, and there was no Janet in sight. The next day, it became a big deal. It became a manhunt. There were really more people now in this river, in this beach resort, looking for Castro Underfire. And they had a long day of search, yet they could not find him. Some divers even went in and they could not see as far as they could go. They could not just find him. And that was it. That was how Castro Underfire and Janet Badu went missing on this Volta River. But they still needed answers. They still needed explanation. No one knew what had happened. Although we know now that Janet may have fallen off his jet ski from Castro Underfire, and Castro decided to take off his life jacket to swim down to get her, and they both drowned. That is what we know now. However, how we know this is because Gyan and some other group of people had claimed to have gone to meet the oracle. They claimed to have gone to meet a native doctor. They claimed to have gone to meet a juju priest. They claimed to have gone to meet a seer, who then told them that what happened in the river was that Janet fell off the jet ski and Castro Underfire took off his life jacket to go and swim to get her, and they both drowned. That is how we know this. It's not like anyone saw it happen for real, because no one saw anything, no one saw them. The last they saw of them was them riding into the sunset down at the deep end of the Volta River. What happened to them in that moment, no one knows. But that is the possibility. That is the basic possible explanation as to what happened to Castro and Janet. Yes, Janet was not with her life jacket, if you remember, but Castro was with his. So is there a chance that somewhere the water just slips through and she got tired of holding him and she slipped, and when he panicked, he took off his jacket because he can't swim down the water with his life jacket to get her. So to swim down to get her, he would have to take off his own life jacket. And Gyan made it clear in interviews and publicly that that could be possible because he knew that Castro was a good swimmer, and he admitted that he had seen Castro rescue someone drowning before. And so he believed the oracles when they said that that was what happened. But that is as far as we know. And the only reason we know that is because the oracles said so. However, though, what could have been about the Swampy Mouth of the Volta River? It's been nearly 10 years since this incident happened. But when it comes to drowning, I'm not an expert, but when it comes to drowning, if someone drowns, in a day 2 or 3, the body should float. But that never happened. Their bodies never floated to the surface. And people kept looking and searching, but their bodies never did. Not even parts of their bodies. I would know that if someone drowns without being submerged with rocks, their body naturally should float up. But how come these two people's body never came up, or parts of their body? I mean, if we want to assume they were eaten by a fish or something, I don't think the fish will eat every part like a whole. It's usually the bones comes up or something. The flesh, a part of them would float somewhere and someone would see it somewhere. But that was not the case with these two people. That was not the case. Their body never flowed back to the surface. Nothing was seen of them. And that was it. So what really happened to Castro Underfire and Janet? Was there a monster there probably waiting to swallow them? Was there some kind of weird water creature that was there that was waiting to feed on them? Was this the Mami water, like some people did claim that maybe there was a Mami water something spirit or something there that probably dragged Janet down and dragged Castro down, and just because, I think there's a fear of underwater called tetralophobia or something. I honestly have that fear, and I have always been someone who believes that there are weird things under the water that many of us don't know. Because whatever happened or whatever sea creature got these two people must have most likely swallowed them. This is not even eating. If it's a shark or a fish, they will most likely get chewed up and parts of their body would scatter around, or at least blood. But nothing was seen. For days and weeks and months and years, nothing. Not a fingernail, not a toe, not a hair, not their clothes, not the slippers, nothing. So whatever sea creature got them, probably like noodles or something, because I don't know how else two grown adults will drown in a river and no one would see them days later at least. Their bodies or parts of it should float up. But nothing was seen, and this began the mystery on the disappearance of Castro Underfire and Janet Badu. Castro's parents refused to bury him. They refused to hold a funeral for him per se because they did not believe he was dead. It's not clear how Janet's family handled her case, but they must have handled it differently. People, however, began to point out Gyan, suspecting that since this was his trip and since Castro did not want to go in the first place, they kind of assumed that Gyan had used him for money ritual. And up to this day, people still believe so, and Gyan had gone on so many rants trying to defend himself. I don't believe he used it for money ritual. I don't think so. It's just something weird to me, because I know if this was in probably a more advanced country, people would want to investigate that Swampy Mouth. Is there something there? Is there what is weird about it? Also, maybe carry out an investigation as to how many people had gone missing or disappeared in that river. I'm sure there'll be more people though. We probably just know about Castro Underfire because he's a very popular Ghanaian artist. Man, this story gives me the creeps. I just can't imagine how their last moment was, or how their last moment could have been for them. What they must have seen before they died, or what it was. Because I would guess if Maybe, probably, the possibility that this could have been the case, like what we see mostly, or what some people suspect, is that maybe Castro eventually got to save Janet, but when he's trying to go back on his jet ski, he most likely couldn't, because the jet ski was not anchored. It was on the river, which means it will keep floating. The more you try to swim towards the jet ski, the water keeps pushing it away. That seemed to be a very possible struggle that the both of them may have had. And somewhere along the line, Castro may have gotten tired of swimming, because now he's carrying Janet to get her there. And he's also trying to get himself there. And he is also swimming. And swimming takes a lot of energy, especially when you're in a deep river like that, because you have to keep flapping your legs to stay above water. And maybe Janet did not know how to swim, and she's also a grown adult too. And I can imagine that might have been a challenge. And even if they have to shout, I don't think anyone would hear. This is looking like a time versus strength situation. And even if somewhere along the line Castro drops Janet and decides to swim by himself, he too would have difficulties trying to reach the jet ski, because the jet ski will just keep floating all the way. And I imagine that could have been the case, and that could have been the situation. And somewhere along the line, he got tired and let himself go. But it doesn't change the fact that if someone drowns, their body should float all the way up. And even if sea creatures gets to eat them, parts of their body or something indicating someone had been eaten up should float up. Unless, of course, a big sea creature probably swallowed them. And that seemed like the possible explanation. But how many sightings of whales have they seen, or of other creatures have they seen in that river? How many? Anyway, this looks like a mystery that may never be solved or may never be answered. And his memory will go on to be this popular Ghanaian artist that went missing on a vacation. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts on what you think may have happened. Do you think this is spiritual, or do you think there is some kind of sea creature that may have gotten them? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. Let me know what you believe may have been the case behind the disappearance of Castro Underfire. Which is ironic though, because his name is Castro Underfire and he died underwater. I mean, what are the possibilities that this could have been the case? Don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and turn on notification buttons so should there be any upcoming video, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you guys for watching.